There are 5 email sequences that every business needs. By adding these simple automations, you can triple your revenue overnight without adding any additional cost. In this video, I'll be breaking down each of these email automations step by step in my CRM, and I'll even show you how to copy and paste these into your business. And while I'm in there, I'll be showing you some samurai level tricks that you can start using right now. Now, before I share my screen and take you inside of my CRM, this video is part of an entire series teaching you to master your GoHighLevel CRM. Literally the most powerful tool for online marketers ever invented. And if you don't already have a GHL subscription, use the link down below and get one for $49. And now, my friends, let's party. We're now inside of my Lead Gen J GoHighLevel CRM. If you don't have this tool, you absolutely need it. If not, you're at a massive disadvantage. Now, I'm going to be walking you through some of my core automations and sequences that you can implement in your business right now. And it doesn't matter if you're a coach, an agency, an e-commerce company, all of these are going to apply to you. And there's a few different components here that you're going to need to think about. One is going to be triggers. How do you get somebody into this automation? When should you initiate it? When should you take somebody out of it? And then what do you actually say in these sequences to maximize conversions? Now, the amazing thing about adding these into your business is it doesn't cost you a penny. Sending emails is essentially free, and it's one of the most effective sales tools that there is. So I'm not going to sell you any more on you needing to do these email sequences. You're watching this video, so you know you need to. I'm going to show you exactly how to set them up and what to say. So I'm going to start in the settings of my GoHighLevel, and I'm going to click on email services so you can see how mine is configured. Now, they use Lead Connector, which I believe is attached to Mailgun to actually send the emails. I highly recommend using their Lead Connector email system. It's what they intend for you to use, and because of that, they make it the most user-friendly and give you the most power. Now, if you're just getting started, you should set up a dedicated domain and IP as soon as possible. This should be your primary domain. It's the one that you want to send emails from. It should be a clean domain that's not on a blacklist, and it should ideally be a little bit warm. Now, this isn't cold email. This is going to be emails that are going to people who have opted in some way. Maybe they've booked a call, maybe they purchased something, maybe they took you up on a lead magnet. For that reason, it's okay to use your primary domain, especially because, as you can see on the screen, we're using subdomains of our primary domain to send emails. So if that subdomain ends up on a blacklist, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. Now, I recommend adding at least 2 subdomains to your GoHighLevel system. And you're going to go ahead and click Add Domain. All you're going to do is type the subdomain that you want to use. And it doesn't even need to be set up yet. You don't need to even edit the DNS records yet. They will do this for you. So imagine I want to use the subdomain test.leadgenj.com. I'm going to click Add and Verify. It's going to automatically know where my domain is hosted, which is Cloudflare, and it's going to automatically integrate those DNS records for me. So all of the thinking, the technical aspect is all done. As you can see, it brought up Cloudflare. It gives me the option to authorize domain. It's going to open up Cloudflare, and it's going to add those records for me. Now, whether you're on GoDaddy or Namecheap, it doesn't matter. It will work exactly the same. But I do recommend Cloudflare because it's much easier, your domain's safer, and it's actually a little bit faster. Now, once those domains are added and verified, and you can see the SSL has been issued, the IP is active, now you can configure them. Now, the reason I wanted you to add at least 2 subdomains is for the following reason. Here within domain configuration, GoHighLevel actually lets you assign specific domains for specific use cases. Now, you're really going to be sending 2 types of emails from your CRM. You're going to be doing automated sequences. These are like drip campaigns, welcome sequences, what I'm going to be teaching you today. And the second type is blasts. So these are email marketing campaigns that go out to thousands of people all at once with the exact same message. I like to use a different domain for the blasts than I use for the automated sequences. The reason for that is these blasts typically have a higher spam rate, and there's a good chance that that subdomain can end up on a blacklist, and you don't want that to affect your automations as well. So for that reason, I set workflow domains as one thing and one-on-one conversations as that same, and then campaigns and bulk I set as a different subdomain. Now that that's all configured and the boring stuff is out of the way, let's actually jump into automations here. Now, an automation doesn't necessarily mean an email drip sequence. You can do a lot of really cool stuff with automations. You can move people through a workflow pipeline, you can assign tags, remove tags, start and stop different things within your business. I'm going to be showing you some cool stuff that I do with automations, but we're going to be focusing on those main sequences, and there's going to be a few different ones that you can implement and copy right now that are going to make a huge difference. difference. Now, I strongly believe the best way for me to teach you this is to show you what I'm actually doing in my business, because it should be pretty standard practice. Everybody's got an opt-in, everybody's got purchases, everybody's got checkout. If those things are in your business, this is going to apply to you. So here's how I configure those things, starting with the opt-in sequence. I'm also going to be stopping at random points in this video to share something that I think is really cool that GoHighLevel does that you can do. And it may or may not be related to nurture sequences, but this is an example. Instagram. GoHighLevel actually has a way for you to not have to use ManyChat. So if you're on Instagram and you're doing posts like comment masterclass and I'll send you a link to this, or I'll send you this lead magnet. It's a really effective lead generation strategy, and GoHighLevel actually now has a built-in feature that is triggered by Instagram comments on a post. So if somebody comments on any published post and they say masterclass, then it is automatically going to add them into the sequence. It's going to wait 2 minutes, and it's going to send them this Instagram DM. If they don't reply to that DM, it's going to follow up in 30 minutes. So this is how I set up this automation. I actually use ManyChat now because ManyChat does one extra thing. It will reply to that comment as well as send them a DM. But if you don't want to pay for ManyChat, this is a really great option. I also promise you that I'm going to show you how to copy these into your business so that you don't have to build them from scratch every time. And I promise to do that as soon as I show you some of my main automations here. All right, so let's come into my different opt-in sequences. If you're a business owner, you probably have some sort of lead magnet, whether it's an e-commerce company and it's give me your email and I'll send you a coupon, or you're a coach or agency and you have some sort of value you want to provide to get somebody's email address. That is a lead magnet that's going to put them into an opt-in sequence. This is the way that I handle those different opt-ins. Each one has its own automation sequence. So this is my $11,000 giveaway. Here's my agency owner's giveaway. And I have a lot of other lead magnets like my contract, my email templates, all here segmented into their own automations. Now, when somebody opts in, meaning they give you their email address in exchange for a thing, you want to deliver that thing as soon as possible. And to give you an example, here's my main opt-in sequence. It's giving away the 8 million free leads, and it's giving you access to my free lead generation course. If you don't already have that, go ahead and click the link down in the description and grab that. It's a really high value opt-in, and if you don't have it yet, you're missing out. So it all starts with a trigger. Every automation starts with a trigger, something to enter that contact into this sequence. In this case, it's a form submission. And just so you can see what it looks like on the front end, this is it. Download 8 million leads and full outreach course and community. And here's the form. Now the form includes a name, an email, a phone number, and I also ask one additional question. And the reason I ask this question, I'm going to show you in just a second, but it's very important. And the question just basically puts them into different buckets. So I get 3 different types of leads coming into my funnel. You'll let me know which one you are when you sign up for this. Either you don't have a business yet, you have a business and you're trying to get more leads, or you sell lead gen as a service. I want to know that so that I can cater your sequence to you. And once you submit, you'll be taken to a thank you page and you'll get added into this drip sequence here. What I like to do is if they opt in for something and that email address already has unsubscribed or they're set as do not disturb for email, I like to remove that. So I actually disable D&D for email here so that everybody who comes into this funnel actually gets the emails. I can't tell you how many times somebody's unsubscribed their email after already taking one of my lead magnets. And then they fill out another form and they say, why aren't I getting emails anymore? Well, you unsubscribed. So this is a good step that you should add to remove that unsubscribe from their email so that you can contact them again. I love using webhooks in my automations. So this one actually invites them to school, invites them to my free community so that they don't need to apply for it. It's a direct invite link. I like to add a tag. For each lead magnet that they take me up on, they should get a very unique tag. That way I can see what processes they went through and track their journey a little bit better. If you're a little more advanced, I also like to add them to audiences on Facebook Ads Manager. So this will add them to Lead Gen J opt-in, and it'll also add them to a Google Analytics audience so that I can run ads to them specifically. Now, if your tracking is set up correctly, you don't need to do this because you've already pixeled them. They've been to that page and you already know that they've opted in. This is just a fail-safe. If for any reason your pixel tracking failed or they had a VPN on, this is going to make sure that they're in that audience. Next, you want to deliver that thing. So if you promise them a coupon, email them that coupon. If you promise them the leads, this is where I email them the leads. And as you can see, they get access to the lead database, invitation to school. If they didn't get the other invite, this is a direct link for them to join. a list of tools that I recommend, a link to join my Facebook group. Now, I said I was going to drop some samurai level tactics on you throughout this video, so here's one of them. Take notes. GoHighLevel will, by default, add an unsubscribe link at the bottom of every email. That unsubscribe link that they add doesn't give them many options. It's either email me or don't email me. Now, some people don't want to fully unsubscribe. They just want to get emailed less often. If you're making the mistake that a lot of email marketers make, especially early on, is that you email people too frequently and you're not sending good enough emails. So that person doesn't necessarily want to fully disown you. They just want to get less emails. So you want to be able to give them that option. So here's how you give them that option. This is a custom unsubscribe that I have built, and I hope that you copy it. It's really, really effective. So want to receive less emails or none at all? Update your email preferences by clicking here. Now this link is actually going to take you to a custom form that I have built. This will automatically import their email address, and now they can hear from me often, which means don't unsubscribe. Hear from me less, which is going to tag them, remove them from active sequences so that they can still receive emails from you if they opt into something, and you can still send them mass email marketing campaigns, or they can fully unsubscribe. This little ninja tactic is going to prevent a ton of unsubscribes, I guarantee it. The caveat is that you need to add this manually to the end of all of your emails. It's easy, you just copy and paste it. And once that's added to the bottom of all your emails, you need to disable GoHighLevel's template. Come into Settings, come into Business Profile, scroll all the way down on the right side, and you're going to uncheck Make Email Compliant by adding an unsubscribe link in your email. Now, you need a way for them to unsubscribe, but you do not need to use their default. And unfortunately, you cannot customize this with your special link, your form. So you have to disable this and then add your own custom unsubscribe form. Man, you guys are getting so much value already. These are some samurai level tactics that I've picked up from all kinds of courses and experts. The next one is another thing that I picked up. After you deliver that lead magnet, I like to wait 6 hours. The 6 hours wasn't discovered by me. This is something that I learned from someone who is doing exactly this, and it works really well. So the did you get it email. When you're delivering an opt-in, a lot of times people either won't get it or they'll get it and ignore it. I like to double tap them. I said, did you get it? So I can sleep. And I'm going to go ahead and read this email to you so that you can see the purpose of it. With all this anti-spam stuff, most emails don't make it. I'm a man of my word, so I wanted to make sure you received what I promised. If yes, hit reply and please let me know so I can sleep peacefully. If not, here's a link to that database again. Talk soon. Almost everybody responds to this email saying, yes, I got it. Thank you. You can sleep. These are positive responses that are going to keep my sending domain 100%. It's also going to make them think that I care about them, which I do. I want to make sure that if you opted in for this thing, you get this thing. And for some reason, a lot of people won't get a first email from me if it's got all these links in it. That's just the reality of email. But they typically will at least get the second one. Now this is key. All of my different opt-in sequences for all of my different lead magnets end the same way. Add to workflow, nurture. So next, let's talk about this nurture sequence, probably the most important sequence in your email automation arsenal. All right, here we are inside of my nurture sequence. Now, if you want to copy this nurture sequence or any of the other sequences that I'm going to show you, all you have to do is join my insiders program and then join my GoHighLevel sub account. If you're in the insiders and you have a sub account with me for only $49, it allows me to do this. I can click on these three dots and I can copy to sub account. And now I can give any of my sub-accounts this exact same sequence at the click of a button. And if you don't want to use my GoHighLevel sub-account, that's fine. If you're in the insiders, I can copy my entire snapshot and give that to you. So you get all my funnels, my automations, my sequences, everything that you're going to need. All right, here we are inside of my nurture sequence. Now, while we're here, I'm going to show you a couple other things that I had forgotten to mention. Please forgive me. Let's go into settings here. So, a couple important things that I want to mention. This allows for re-entry. This is now enabled by default. I usually just leave this on unless it's a very specific purpose that I don't want people coming back through. And I'll show you what those purposes are when they hit them. And same thing with stop on response. This is a very specific purpose, like a sales sequence where you're trying to get their attention, like a cold email drip, that you don't want to keep emailing them if they respond. For a nurture sequence, you do. Time zone, I like to keep it in the account time zone, but honestly, this doesn't matter unless you're sending in specific times, and I'll show you how to do that. And for nurture sequences, I actually don't like to use specific time. They opted in at a time that was comfortable to them. So I just like to go by the time that worked for them. If they opted in at noon on a Tuesday, then they should get emails on noon at a Tuesday. That just makes sense, right? Sender details. I like to use my name and I like to use my email address. That does not mean that then when they reply, it's going to go to me. When they reply, it's actually going to go to my team, and I'll show you how to set that up in just a second. Now, what you might notice is that you're sending emails from a subdomain. It's j@go.leadgenj.com, right? So doesn't it need to say that here? You'll use your main domain, and this is the email that they're going to see. Do not write your subdomain here. Use your primary domain here. All right, now you're going to notice a couple things about this nurture sequence. One is that it's triggered by this form submission. Well, not necessarily. Because I had the other automations end with add to nurture sequence, those are triggering this sequence. So all of my different opt-in automations are all funneling all of the active leads into this nurture sequence. These are coming from all different places. That's why you see 58 people on the last day have been added into this sequence. And it's a Sunday, so this is a very slow day. You'll also see the same thing here, disable D&D for email. Add to these audiences. That's because not all of my automations have these 3 steps, so I wanted to make sure that each person is going through these steps. And I like to wait for a day because it puts people typically right from delivering the thing into this sequence. I like to wait for a day so they're not getting my nurture sequence and the delivery email on the same day. So how it'll typically work is you'll fill out that form for 8 million free leads. You'll get the email delivery for those leads immediately. I send that right away. And then a day later, you'll start getting these emails. The next thing that you'll see is these buckets. So I've got a conditional here. To add that, all you have to do is put an if-else action inside of your automation. And then within that if/else automation, you'll be able to designate different branches that you'll send your leads based on something. In my case, it's going to be what they selected on that initial opt-in form. If they selected I have a business and need more leads, they go one way. If they selected I sell lead gen as a service, they go another way. Now this takes a considerable amount of effort because you need to write 3 different nurture sequences, and writing one is hard enough, but it does make a huge difference. I noticed probably a 2 or 3x multiple in my lead gen course sales once I implemented this. And the reason's actually really simple. If you're not a business owner, the emails that I'm going to send you to provide value to you are going to be significantly different than if you're running a successful lead gen agency. What you need is different. The way that I talk to you is different. For example, if you don't have a business, I'm going to be helping you find your offer. I'm going to be teaching you how to get discount services and make money. If you have a lead gen agency, I'm going to be telling you how to scale your lead gen agency. The messaging is going to be very different because in this nurture sequence, my goal is to give my customers, my prospects, as much value as humanly possible while keeping them entertained, which can be a really hard thing to do. But if you can pull that off, you're going to get a ton of people from this nurture sequence into your sales sequence, which is really the next step that I'm going to show you. So here's what that segmentation looks like for me. These are the different buckets, not business owner, lead gen agency. Tags includes no business. Tag includes business owner. Tag includes lead gen agency. So there's actually a different automation that's tagging them as soon as they come in. And as you can see, it's working quite well. These each get segmented, and if they don't have a tag, it goes into business owner. Now in this video, I'm not gonna go through each individual email that I send in my nurture sequence. I don't think that would be productive, especially because you might sell e-commerce, you might have an agency, you might have a coaching business, you might sell cleaning services to your local brick and mortars. I don't know. Your nurture sequence is going to be very different. So showing you each email here is probably not going to be the most productive. But I'm going to open a couple up and show you a few important things. One is that you're talking directly to the person that opted in. That's where segmentation becomes really valuable. The second thing is you're not hard selling in this sequence. You're giving them value and you're presenting them with some of your offers in usually a fun and entertaining way that also provides value. Now, what you're going to notice in the emails in my nurture sequence is that there's going to be one call to action. In this case, it's learn about my insiders program. My only goal for this email is get them to acknowledge that I have that offer, teach them a little bit about it, and if they click that link, as you can see, this is a trigger link. Now, a trigger link is something within GoHighLevel that if they click it, they go to somewhere like it was a normal link, but it also serves as an action trigger. So by clicking that link, it automatically puts them into another automation. So I'm going to show you how that works right now. Let's come into GoHighLevel. We're going to come into marketing. We're going to come into trigger links. I highly recommend that you use these. They are unbelievably powerful, and I use them for everything. So now you can give the trigger link a name and give the trigger link a URL. For example, if I'm trying to send them to my insider's course page, I'm just going to say, course.com, but it has to be a unique link. So give them the URL, and then I like to do $interested. That $interested isn't going to affect the destination, but it's going to serve as a trigger link. It's going to be a unique link that if they hit it, it acts as that trigger. So here's the one that I actually use. Course interest, insider's course, course interest. Now when I'm building these sequences, these campaigns, I can, instead of hyperlinking the course, I can actually use that URL. I can grab this and I can find that trigger link, course interest. And now it's going to hyperlink that trigger link. So if they click it, I can now use that click as a trigger for another automation. For your nurture sequence, I recommend waiting 2 to 3 days before each email during that first couple weeks. You don't want to email somebody every single day. They didn't really sign up for that. They'll likely unsubscribe. You want to send them valuable emails every 2 to 3 days. So my first email, my first course of action is get them into my course. If I can do that as fast as possible, awesome. But I'm not going to keep trying to sell them on the course for every single email. That's why the second one is here's a list of tools that I use. The third one is here's a cold email AI writer that you can use. And I follow the same system of 2 to 3 days over the course of my automation. For a couple of these emails, once we get farther down, I want to start equalizing when I send the emails, so I use an advanced window, and I send every day except Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I'm not hitting them in the middle of the night. You don't need to do this. This is just something that I set up in the middle of my campaign. It actually works quite well. And as you can see, towards the end, the gaps get even longer. So I have 402 people waiting to get this last email here. So what happens when they're done with the nurture sequence and they don't take any action? Well, nothing. It's your goal to send them email blasts at least once a week, at worst once every 2 weeks. And that way you're keeping those people engaged and you're staying on top of them with relevant current information. I recommend that this nurture sequence is at least 30 days long and 10 emails long. If you can continue to provide value and entertain, it really doesn't matter how long you email them or how many emails that you send them. The last thing I want to show you before we move on is this final step. Each automation can only have one goal. A goal is a specific action that takes place that will take someone from the beginning of an automation and have them jump all the way to that goal. In my case, it's if they buy the course. If they buy my course, I don't want to keep sending them my nurture sequence. They've already been nurtured. They're already customers. Now they'll go into my new customer onboarding sequence, and I take them out of this nurture sequence. So you'll put a goal pretty much anywhere at the end of your campaign. It doesn't matter where, because no matter where they are, they're going to jump here. So if they get the tag email course, they're automatically going to jump to the end of this campaign, and this workflow is going to end. Now, quickly before I move on, I showed you that the branches are based on tags, and people fill out a form to segment themselves, put themselves into buckets. They have a business or they run a business already, but by filling out the form, that's not enough to give them a tag. Here's how they actually get the tag. This is how the automation works. A new contact is created. It will wait until the segment qualifier is not empty. That segment qualifier is the field on that form. When they pick this answer, that is the segment qualifier field. So it'll wait until that's not empty. And then when it's not empty, it will segment them based on what that segment qualifier was, and then it will give them that tag. And that's an example of an automation that doesn't have any emails. That automation is only used to organize my data. My customers won't ever know it exists. It operates in the background to serve my CRM and keep things organized. Now let's take a look at some sales sequences that I use. So obviously my main offer is trying to get you to join my Insiders program. In order to do that, I use a trigger link to move you from my nurture sequence into my sales sequence. But that's not the only way that I can add you to my sales sequence. The other way that I can add you is directly. So this is my bio link that I use on Instagram, and this is the sales page for my course. If they hit this sales page for my course, my goal is to get them to opt in here. So it's going to be the same set of questions, a name, an email, and all they have to do is segment themselves. Once they fill out that form, boom, now they're automatically put into my sales sequence for the course because they were on the course page and they opted in to learn more about the course. So I don't have to put them into my nurture sequence. I send them directly to the sales sequence, and no nurture sequence at all. You want to keep them focused. They shouldn't be in 2 sequences at once. If they're in 2 sequences at once, 1, you're probably going to be emailing them too much, and 2, they're going to be distracted and not take the course of action that you want them to take. So here you're going to see a lot of different automations related to selling my course. Some of these are pretty ninja, and I'm going to walk you through what a couple of them look like. But first I wanted to show you my sales sequence. So course interest segmented is what I call it. You notice that kind of like my opt-in sequence is set up pretty similarly with the different buckets. And the reason is if I'm trying to sell someone with no business on my course, they're going to get a very different product. They're going to get pitched very differently versus if I'm selling someone who runs a lead gen agency. The things in my course that I want to show them and pull out and pitch them on, the case studies I want to show them, are going to be much different and curated to them. And this helps me sell more courses and helps my customers get what they want. So to trigger this thing, we've got the form that you just saw, course interest form submitted. And we've also got trigger linked clicked. Course interest. This is the trigger link that I showed you earlier. Now here you'll see they're added to these Google audiences and Facebook audiences, but now it's a different audience. They're not in the opt-in audience. They're in the course interested audience. This is a much warmer audience, so I'm able to spend more money and hyper target people that are actually interested in purchasing the course. This is a webhook to send that data to Hyros to further optimize my ad targeting. I'm not going to go too detailed onto that right now. Segmenting into buckets. I already explained this. The one thing I want to show you is this one here, this bucket. They're already a member and they've maybe hit that trigger link or maybe they've filled out that form. I don't want somebody who's already bought my course to start getting these emails. For that reason, I have got this segmentation bucket to take them out of the sequence before it can even start. And there's different ways to do this. I could have done this as a goal at the end. And that's the powerful thing about automations. They're really whatever you make of them. The more creative you are, the better. And the more you understand them, the more crap you'll be able to do. The goal of the sales sequence is not to entertain and it's not to give value. Now you know they're interested in buying your product. Now your goal is to sell them your product. Don't be afraid to get a little bit pushy here, to use discounts, to use case studies, to call them out on problems that they're having in their life and their business that you can help them with. So in this sequence, I will make ridiculous offers. I will send them case studies that are related to them of people that have their business transformed by joining the course. I'll use real life examples from my own life and I'll give them previews and snippets from the program itself. Now, one of the most effective emails in this campaign I will pull out and show you because it does work so well. I call it red pill, blue pill. And you can write this one down and use this in your own business. This will help a lot. What is it going to be? Let me ask you a question. Which is more valuable to you right now, saving money or getting one-on-one coaching from Lead Gen J? If you take the red pill, I will send you a personal discount code so you can save 40%. It's only going to be active for 24 hours. If you take the blue pill, you'll pay full price and I'll send you a calendar link to meet with me personally for a one-on-one coaching session. Then I give them 2 trigger link options, a red pill and a blue pill. This works unbelievably well. People love an option, people love a choice, and by using something relatable to them, the matrix, everybody knows what red pill, blue pill is, it actually has a really powerful sales tool. And at any point, you can come into certain emails to see how they're performing. So this one, 99.6% delivery rate, 31% open rate. That's pretty good for a sales sequence email. Most emails get like a 10 to 15% open rate. The first one's always going to be the highest. This one has about a 50% open rate. And then I like to follow certain emails up with text messages. So texts are going to be much shorter. Not everybody's going to have an active phone number, but if they do and they're in the US, use text sparingly. Only use them to deliver really important pieces of information. People are going to be very likely to opt out of your texts. So you want to use them really cleverly, only at really opportune moments. In this case, they just showed interest in the course. I'm sending them a link to book a call with someone on my sales team to learn more. For this sales sequence, I recommend about 10 emails, separate them by 2 to 3 days at first. That way you're not bombarding them. And then I actually get less and less frequent. So as you can see now, it goes to 7 days. And now we've got a lot more people waiting in these sequences. And in order to get them out of the sequence, they need to buy the course. So if they do buy the course and they get this email course tag, then they're removed from this workflow. Now, I'm not officially advising this, but this is something that I set up as a test. I love to test in here. I've got 413 people that have been waiting 10 days. At the end of this 10 days, they're actually going to go into this no business sequence. And it's basically going to restart with a little bit of a different sales pitch. Business owner to no business is a very different sales pitch. So I basically just doubled my sequence and we'll see how this works. Again, everything is kind of a test here. And this is pretty exciting. So you cannot sign up for my course right now at the time I'm recording this video because I've activated a waitlist on Insiders 2.0. There are secrets within the course that are a little bit too sensitive to just let everybody in all at once. Even the people that are in that course nurture sequence, they've been there for a while. You can't get back into that right now. So if you wanted to buy the course right now, you'd have to sign up for the wait list. And it looks like in the last 12 hours, I've had 56 people join the wait list because I did set that up yesterday. So that's very exciting. And that's another example of an automation that you can use to get people interested and get people excited about your new offer. All right, so that's the sales sequence. Let's look at another one that's going to help you sell a ton more products that almost nobody has in their business, and it is super important. This is going to make you a lot of money. Your abandoned cart sequence. Now, the typical problem with abandoned cart sequences is that they're either not triggered at the right time or you don't have enough information on the person checking out. GoHighLevel has done such a good job at helping you build the best possible abandoned cart sequence, and here's why. I use multiple different triggers so that no matter what reason is that they're on my checkout page, it's going to trigger this automation. And you'll see that there's nobody in here right now, because nobody can check out right now. I have a wait list active. So the different things that are triggering this is the abandoned checkout trigger, which means it's been more than 10 minutes and the cart value is greater than $280. Another trigger, and this one works if you're using a two-step checkout, order form submission in the course funnel and the course checkout page. So if it's a two-step and they submit the first part, they'll go in that way. Now, this is the trigger that gets almost everybody into this funnel. So most of the people who are landing on my course page are people that are already in my CRM. It knows their IP address, it follows them around. The trigger looks like this. If they do a page view of a funnel or website, and the funnel is course funnel and the page is checkout, they're automatically going to get entered in to this abandoned cart sequence. And this is going to be a series of emails and texts over the course of about 3 days. As you can see, these are people that have entered this abandoned cart sequence before, and the goal here is to hard sell them. First one's going to be a reminder. Did you notice that you were going to check out? You didn't. Something happened. Here's a link to go back and check out. That's not the time to give them a discount code. After 1, 2, 3 days, now's the time to offer that discount code, offer an incentive, offer something of timeliness. And that's what I'm doing here in my second, third, fourth email. A little bit harder sales, more offers, more discount codes. And I actually use that same concept on, for example, my buy now, pay later. So I offer different financing options. If they hit that financing page, then I know they're interested in financing. They're close, they're on the finish line. So by viewing that page, it's going to add them into this sequence where now I can help them with their buy now, pay later. There's a really powerful tool that you can use in your CRM for a variety of factors. Just by somebody visiting a page, now you can trigger a sequence and help them with whatever that thing is. And just quickly, I want to show you this really cool automation. This is a 24-hour discount automation. So it's one thing to give somebody a discount and tell them there's a time limit on it. Actually putting a time limit on it and showing them that there's a time limit on it works really well to create some urgency. So that's essentially what this automation does. It's a trigger link that they say activate discount. This webhook goes and creates that discount inside of Stripe, and then it updates their contact in GoHighLevel. This waits until it's ready, and it actually sends them a follow-up over the course of 24 hours to tell them, here's your discount code, it's customized to them with their name, and it actually expires at the end of the term. And what ends up happening, even if they don't use that discount code in the 24 hours, and a lot of them do, is they'll miss it. They'll try and use it later on, they'll say, this doesn't work. Then you can make another coupon, say it's got a 24-hour discount, give it to them, and that one will work every time. Now, one of the most important sequences that you need in your business is your onboarding sequence. Somebody finally purchased, they signed up for your program, they bought your e-com product, they signed up for your agency. Now, what do you say? What do you do? How do you handle that contact? So these are all of the different triggers that somebody purchased. Elective is my financing, so if they came through financing, if they submitted an order on GoHighLevel, all these different tags and forms, all put them into the same sequence, which means they purchased. It's going to remove them from all of these other sequences if they weren't removed already. It's going to go do some fancy stuff in Zapier, check with my affiliates, add it to Hyros, add it to Wiser Notify. You're going to want a nice welcome email. So this one actually comes from my operations director, basically saying, hey, I'm here if you need anything. Here are some next steps. An internal notification is something that I send to myself and my team. Hey, somebody signed up. Here's their info. You're going to want to disable D&D for all channels. This person just bought your thing. There's no reason that they should be unsubscribed. This will actually wait until they've completed the course agreement, which is just a fair use agreement. All they do is sign, they get a tag, and now they get invited to the actual course. We deliver the product, invite to school, thank you, text message. They get added to my Google Analytics and my Facebook audience that they actually purchase. This person is a conversion. They're a conversion. It needs to get attributed correctly. So I shoot that into Google Analytics and to my Facebook audience. And then I do an onboarding sequence. Now, this sequence is going to be between 5 and 20 emails over the course of 30 to 60 days. This sequence is to help them get the most out of their purchase. You've got a couple of goals here. One is to help them use and navigate your product. You're going to answer all of the most common questions. You're going to offer them help. You're going to send them videos. The second purpose is to get referrals and to get feedback from them. So here is kind of how my welcome sequence goes. Without opening each email, I'm going to run you through it. So there's a welcome email where I share the links, the resources, the instructions, as well as a link to my intake form. Then I share some links that's going to help them get the most out of this course, including a GPT to help them create an offer and a video that helps them navigate the course. We share how we do the done-for-you email machine setup, the modules to go to, the coupons to use. We share some of the hidden modules that most people wouldn't otherwise watch, but I encourage them to. This is the one-on-one copywriting sessions that I do with my insiders. It's got my one-on-one meetings. And by telling them that this exists, that, hey, a lot of other people have paid me a lot of money to do one-on-one consults. I've got them recorded and they're here. Go watch them. They're important and they're going to solve this, and that problem. And so while I'm giving them value, I'll also start to point them to my feedback page. Now, this is another really important automation that I want to share with you as soon as we get through this welcome sequence. But by getting feedback, this has led to a ton of video testimonials and a ton of Trustpilot reviews. And it is a brilliant automation that everybody needs inside of their business. More value, I tell them where the live trainings are, encourage them to show up to those live trainings. Here's how to get some bonuses and some social proof. Here's a secret LinkedIn backdoor strategy in case you missed it. And now I start asking for that referral. Here's an affiliate application to start sending your friends to sign up for the course so you can get compensated and start earning some of these rewards. So what did we do there inside of that welcome sequence? We gave them a bunch of information about the product that they just purchased. We helped them get the most out of the product. We built a ton of rapport, and hopefully that translates into positive feedback. And last but not least, we've got people signed up as an affiliate, and now they can start referring their friends into the program. Now this sequence will just continue. The only thing that's going to take them out of the sequence is them unsubscribing or them getting kicked out of the course or requesting a refund. Now the last thing I want to show you is my Ninja review funnel. This is how I've gotten like 70 Trustpilot reviews over the course of 2 months. It's how I've ranked Otter PR as one of the #1 PR firms in the country. It's all through this exact same sequence that I'm going to share with you right now. So when I ask my insiders for feedback, I send them to this page. They enter their name, their email, and hopefully they give me a 5-star review. If they don't continue through this automation. But if they do give me a 5-star review, then they get a gift, and they come to this page where they can choose the gift that they want, and they can leave that Trustpilot review. So once they submit that form, they go into this Trustpilot review sequence, and this is really the key. People don't like coming up with their own review. They don't like writing things, and most people aren't very proficient. So if they give me 5 stars, this has a webhook to Zapier to generate a review. Generating that review is going to take a lot of prompting. I've worked really hard on creating a good prompt that actually works and sounds unique every time. They can either copy and paste or use as a template. And then once they submit this with the screenshot of their review, I'm just going to go ahead and submit anything here so you can see the next step. The next step is where I ask them to record a video testimonial. So if they've taken enough time to do the Trustpilot, they've given me 5 stars, I ask them to go ahead and do a video. If they do it, they get a big prize. So they record a video, and this tool is senja.io. There's going to be a link to that in my recommended tools list, as well as a coupon code to help you save a ton of money. I actually talked to their owner, and they give the insiders a massive discount, and you can leverage that same discount in that tool sheet. Now, once they submitted that previous form with the screenshot, my team actually gets this email to review the screenshot and either approve it or deny it. Now, each of these links is a trigger link. That way we don't have to fill out a form. We don't have to manually move them through. All we have to do is click the screenshot, and then if it's good, approve it. If it's not, deny it. We'll wait until that trigger link is clicked, and then it will either give them the gift if it's approved, or it will deny it if it was not approved. As you can see, most people do it correctly, and most are approved. Just a little 3 people that weren't. Now, the very last thing I want to show you, and we've been doing this for about an hour, so thank you for sticking it out with me, is some basic operational automations. This isn't going to be email sequences, but it's going to keep your CRM clean. So first thing is to make sure you're set up correctly. So make sure that these checkboxes are checked. Mark emails as invalid due to hard bounce. Bot detection, preventing statistics, increment, and automation execution. This is going to make sure bots aren't skewing your results. Validate phone numbers when first SMS is sent. Verify email address when first email is sent to new contact. This is going to do the majority of the work keeping your CRM clean, but there's a couple of other automations that you're going to need to keep your CRM clean as well. And they're going to be in my email events. So I recommend setting all of these up yourself. They are really important just for CRM maintenance. If you're in the insiders, just let me know if you need a snapshot. I'll send it to you. If you're not, here's how they work. So you can use different triggers that are different email events. So you're going to choose a workflow trigger, email events, and then there's a lot of different events that you can choose from. So if an email is clicked, you're going to want to give them email clicked tag. This way you'll know that somebody's actually opening your emails and clicking them. This is a positive signal that you can use to determine if somebody is an active subscriber. Same thing with email opened. Now, one thing I want to show you is email event marked as spam. So if somebody marks it as spam, you want to set them as D&D and tag them email spam as soon as you possibly can. You can do the same thing for an invalid email or if an email bounces. These are all different automations that you need to set up based on different email events so that you can make sure people aren't getting emails if they've unsubscribed or if they've marked you as spam or if it bounced. This is not good for your CRM, and this will help you keep your CRM clean. Then you're going to want to do the same thing for SMS. So all these are different triggers where I'm going to remove somebody from my SMS automations. So these are the different triggers that's going to tell me if a phone number is bouncing. You don't want to keep trying to send text to a phone number that can't accept text because you're going to end up spending a ton of money. So set these two automations up in your CRM. Workflow trigger, number validation, either the number is SMS incapable and an SMS number is not valid. This will automatically D&D them for call and SMS, and it's going to tag them as bad phone. But for some reason, that's not going to be enough with GoHighLevel. You also need this one other automation set up. And that's this one. This one's a little bit complicated. When a new contact is created, I run them all through this automation. So everybody comes in, contact created, wait until phone number exists, and then determines if it's an international number that does not accept texts. So the only way that I've found to do this is this way. If phone contains, and these are the area codes like +44, +212, where they keep bouncing. If it contains this area code, then it sets them as D&D. If you don't have this set up, it's going to charge you a bunch of money for something that's not even working. GoHighLevel does need to fix this, but until then, this is a good workaround. So if you want to just take a screenshot of this, these are the numbers or the area codes that seem to be the biggest problems. And that's all I've got for you in this module of your GoHighLevel mastery. In following videos, we're going to go through the marketing tab. We're going to go through the sites tab. I'm going to show you how to build funnels and forms and websites. I'm going to show you how to manage your email list with this marketing tab and with this contacts tab. I'm going to show you how to manage your pipeline. So you need to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel and that bell notifications are on so that you don't miss another GHL mastery video. And if you don't already have GHL, grab it down below for only $49, or if you're an agency, use my link to sign up and save a few bucks. And remember, if you're part of my insiders community, you will get access to copy all of my automations, all of my sites, my forms, my workflows that I've spent years building, so you don't have to guess. It will just work. Sign up for the insiders program down below, and I will see you in the next video.